Hey, what is up everybody, Blades for here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video guys, we're going to be going over the top 3 units that you most likely want to get on TW and KR, seeing that we're going to be having a major update, and it's pretty much the best time for anyone who wants to start P5X to start P5X pretty much. So I'm going to be recommending these top 3 limiteds, of course. None of these are going to include any of the standard characters, because the limited characters are the real big boy prizes that a lot of us really want to get, and I think they're really much so important, seeing that some of the standard characters, or majority of the standard characters of course, are in the standard banner. So there's no need to really go up those guys, even though they're really good as well. But if you guys like videos like these, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video, and either hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you don't want to really do that, I mean, like, at least leave a comment. God dang, like I gotta eat or something. Please, come on, help me out, help a brother out. But do something, it really does help me out in the long run. We're steady trucking to 4K, and we're gonna keep on trucking from here. But anyways, go ahead and talk about it. So with the next update, we do have a huge amount of things going on, at least being a ton of things with the new castle, or at least the new actual palace that's going to be coming out, and that's going to be a huge deal, giving us a ton more things to grind. The maps is going to be freaking huge. We're going to have a ton of events, multiple gameplays that are coming in, multiple new game mechanics that are coming in. So we have a lot that's going to be releasing. But one of the things that's also going to be releasing is the new banner that's going to be Mont Figure Skater, as well as the new limited picker banner. Now this limited picker banner is similar to this one, where every last 5-star is in here. As for this one only has every last standard 5-star, which are going to be Ryuji, Morgana, Rin, An, Marion, Riddle, and Phoebe. With the addition, I think on the actual one is going to end up actually having Cherish as well, but we are only going to be looking at the limiteds. Now the limiteds, of course, are a couple of these characters, which are going to be in the only ones that are not going to be actually available, of course, the newer ones, but the ones who are going to be available is Summer Moko, Ford, Joker, Summer Closer. We're going to have let me see, Yui here. We're going to have Queen, Yusuke, and then we should be having, I think that's all of them, right? Yeah, I think that's all of the main limiteds here that are going to be available, which is a ton to actually pick from. But there are top 3 that I would recommend a lot of you guys getting, mainly because they're just freaking absolutely amazing. 2, they can give you a really good start on the game, no matter what you're doing, for good content that you want to clear. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. So one of the first things that we're going to be going ahead and looking at is actually the best supporter in the game. Now, I've went over this character multiple times in different videos, and the reason why you should really go for her, and that is Cord. Cord herself is absolutely amazing. She's pretty much the #1 character that I think any free-to-play or anyone who's starting this game, heck, even if you're returning, even if you've been playing and you just don't got her, you need to get her. She quite literally charges up highlights, so you can actually spam your highlights, which are the equivalent of ultimates in this game. Helps you with at least some passive HP recovery. She helps with just amazing stellar buffs that give you attack related stat buffs, as well as damage bonus buffs, and is absolutely amazing to actually have. Even when it comes down to her weapon, which will be obtainable as well, it is actually a very worth it weapon that is actually worth going for a 5-star. And if you don't want to go for that, you can use the 4-star, which is just as good pretty much. It just doesn't give you as much highlight, which is perfectly fine. You can still technically just spam your highlight over and over, and this comes at the actual rotation of using skill 2 into skill 3, which can be triggered every, I think, 2 to 3 rounds, and that instantly gives your actual ultimate. Now this character is actually insane. For a lot of people who don't have her, they definitely want to get her this time around. I would highly suggest, when this banner does end up dropping, get this character, because without a doubt, I don't think anyone in the community that has been in the community for a while will tell you she's bad. I don't think anyone in the community will tell you that she's not a must-have type unit, because yeah, you can go ahead and play without her, but I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be kind of miserable, because once you actually see how she works, you get her into a team and you actually really get the chance to see what she can accomplish, it's one of those characters that now once you try her, you ain't gonna go back. You just don't want to go back. She's that good of a character. So this is one character I would highly advise you guys to really try to actually get into. Main reason also is because Building her is actually fairly easy too. It doesn't require any like craziness here. I think her main stats for building that's really easy as well as like HP, attack, and defense, if I'm correct. Yeah, HP, attack, and defense, and that's all you need. You don't need any like crazy type stats. You don't need any of that. She's actually really fast. If you do have some speed on her, that's fine, but she's also a fast character, so you don't really have to heavily invest into speed or anything like that. Speed tuning this character is actually really easy as well. But all in all, she's a really good character. I think she should be your first pick, especially when it does come down to it. But we're going to move on to the next pick. Now, this one is mainly going off of DPSs. Now, this is not going to be including Mesa, who is like another crazy good DPS or stuff like that. This isn't going to be including Mont Figure Skater that she recently just of course dropped. She's going to be dropped at the same time of this banner. And if I'm being honest, you would only go for her if you go for like Yusuke, if I'm being dead honest with you. So that's kind of up to you if you want to go ahead and do that, but only option that you're not going for Yusuke. The next thing I would like to focus on is most likely a single target DPS, and this is probably the best single target DPS, if not the best single target DPS in the game. That's actually Makoto. Now Makoto is crazy good. The only issue comes down to is a little bit of her team. Now, much like as I said earlier, where we of course have Makoto, or at least we have Cord, who actually is a really good supporter. Makoto's actual single target DPS is insane. She can deal some crazy numbers. It's kind of ridiculous that she actually can deal some of these numbers. And her 5-star weapon is actually hecka worth. It's not necessary, but it is hecka worth it. Now, a good part about this as well with this character is even if you have the 4-star weapon, and even if you're kind of just now starting with this character, you're going to see some huge damage numbers. She's able to farm these numbers really easy and get a lot of things done for a little bit. She doesn't really need a ton of investment with that, and she can get it done. Just give her this girl some attack, give her a little bit of like crit damage, and she's rocking it. At that point, she's just straight up smacking anything in the face. And then if you really want to be a little bit investment into this, you really don't have to get up her skill 1 or her like skill 2. You really only have to get up her skill 3 and her ultimate. So with those two, those are very low investment for that. You can really just pump out every last piece of material into her skill 3 and her ultimate, and you'll be set. That's all you got to do. The only issue with this character that I do have is she is kind of not really a setup character, but does require one mandatory character in her team, and that is going to be Vino. Now, Vino is a 4-star character, so there's nothing wrong with this. You are probably going to obtain her when pulling. And the whole deal with Vino is she gives off these elemental anomalies that once they're on the enemy, it actually helps Makoto deal amplified damage. So this is actually going to be interesting. I think also it helps with weird technicals later on, at least in the next update, because I know some things get changed about technicals. So I think she does get some technical damage off of that as well, but I could be wrong, so surely do keep that in mind. But you do need Vino in the team. As for her 3rd slot in the team, you could very well use Cord, though I would advise possibly using a buffer or at least a healer. And this is actually where the thing is good about her, is because the healer that you're normally going to be using is this character right here, who is a standard character. So instead of having to actually rate up this character on the limited banner that's going to be pickers that we're talking about today, you can get her off the standard banner, or you get her from a picker that's in the later missions from the standard banner, and you will be set. Pretty much her team's done. Or even when it comes down to at least the navigator, you can use a 4-star navigator, which is like Okyan. Let me find her real quick. Yeah, you can use a 4-star navigator like Okyan. You can go ahead and use Rico to some extent. And then later on, whenever Futaba comes back, of course, you can get Futaba. But she is a really good character. She just really requires Vino for the most part in her actual team. Everything else is kind of flexible, but she does a ton of damage. So if you want to get a really good single target damager, this would be the character I would go for, especially for the 2nd slot. Now for the 3rd character I would recommend on the limited time banner. This one's a little bit hard. Of course, I'm going to actually announce the honorable mentions first, because this one was more of a kind of, I guess, an optional thing. I guess the 3rd pick could be on you technically, but the one I would highly advise to go for is more or less going to be something that most people aren't going to expect here. It's going to be an AoE DPS. Now, some honorable mentions before, of course, I go about this AoE DPS. It's going to be Fox. Fox is a really good DPS himself. He's absolutely amazing, but the only issue with him is he requires a lot of like teams that, yeah, he's flexible to some extent, but he won't deal the utmost amount of damage without certain characters. So for example, with Fox, you really do need to have let's go ahead and go check here. You really do need to have his like mandatory team, which is going to eventually be Mont Figure Skater, and then you want to have Cherish with him, and at minimum you want to have Cherish with him and maybe just a 4-star. He's very flexible, but the only issue with that is he does require a lot of attention from his supports, so I did not put him as the actual main person for the 3rd slot. Now the other honorable mention that we could go ahead and go for, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are gonna pick this character anyways, is just gonna be Joker. Joker himself is absolutely amazing. He's a crazy good character. The only reason why I put him as an honorable mention is just because you really get to see a ton more of what he's actually capable of with his awarenesses. So if you're a person who wants to go for awarenesses on Joker, by all means, go ahead, knock yourself out. He's actually really good of a character. I love him. I maxed him out as well. He's a really good character, just he does require a decent bit of investment to make him like stellar. But the character that we are going to be talking about for an AoE DPS, I would highly advise is actually going to be Summer Closer. Now this character, you will need, I have her maxed out, but you will want to get her weapon. It really makes a huge difference on her whole kit, but she is a blessed unit. The only reason why I would say you would choose Joker over her is because we do have Kasumi coming in later on, who is also going to be a blessed unit. So if you want to go ahead and just do what's it called, this is why I say this slot is so stinking flexible. If you want to go ahead and just get ready for Kasumi, then I would suggest highly to go for Joker, because Joker is overall a good character who has an extra turn and can get off some extra damage. So if you don't care about Zumi or Sumire, who's going to eventually be dropping, then you would go for Closer. Main reason for this is because she actually does some really like high tier damage, of course, and without a doubt, I really enjoy how much like they really went into her kit. So she has 2 different forms that she goes into, which can really amplify her crit rate and crit damage. It makes her hecka strong. Also with the Blessed team, it's fairly easy to build. The real thing that you really have to have with the Blessed team, of course, is going to be like usually Closer. You're going to want to have yourself Marion, and then Simeon, I at least advise getting Cord earlier. Her team actually does pertain with Cord, so it's a perfect synergy type team that can really be very, very strong and really push you through tons of the content. Hence the reason why I said like she would be the better choice. Though if you want to go for Sumire, who's most likely also or either is a blessed unit as well, then you would most likely go for Joker himself. Joker himself also can be ran with some free-to-play units as well, so I mean like he's always a good suggestion. But my main 3, as I stated earlier, is going to be Cord. You want to go ahead and get what's it called, where'd she go, where did they go? I just forgot where they went. Where the heck did they go? Oh, there it is. So Cord, Makoto, and then the last character is going to be Summer Closer. Now, as always, the 3rd slot can be optional. If anything, at the end of the day, have fun. Pick who you want. That is what we want to do. That is what we want to at least advise. We play this game for fun, so make sure whatever you pick at the end of the day, it does not have to be meta. It does not have to be something that I advise. It can be something you want to have fun with. So keep that in mind. But all in all, those are the top 3 that I ended up advising for you guys. Hopefully you guys have some nice pulls tomorrow, especially when it does drop. And for all the new players, if you're interested into actually dropping as well, or at least going into the game as well, be sure to go on KR most likely, because it is translated with the English translation patch. You can come over to TW if you want to play with me, but I do advise you, if you want to read the story and be able to read some of the things here, KR is probably your best bet. But until next time, everybody, peace out.